What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and the NBA season is right around the corner, so I'm gonna give my predictions on what I think the top 8 seeds in every conference is gonna be. And today we're gonna start with the Western Conference. I'm gonna have the Eastern Conference video out sometime this week, but let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Starting at my number 8 seed, I've given this team a lot of flack. I made a video on them earlier in the year, sometime in the summer, talking about how they should completely rebuild, but they really can't because their money is just too locked up with the players they got. That is the Phoenix Suns. And I've given the Phoenix Suns, like I said, I've given them a lot of shit. And I still believe that the Phoenix Suns can be really, really good, to be honest. Not really, really good. I mean, I say really, really good. Obviously, still 8th seed, still bottom of the conference. Like, there's playing and all that, but they're still out. Like, they're 9-10 is what I consider playing teams, and then 8-7 they gotta play in the play-in, but they get advantage. You know what I mean? But for Phoenix Suns, they added Tyus Jones and they changed their coach. They got Mike Budenholzer. I think that those two things really did make a difference. Mike Budenholzer, just the offense looks a lot more fluid. The ball movement looks a lot better. It doesn't look like super duper ISO ball, and Tyus Jones is also adding to that. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of Tyus Jones, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. That's a really small lineup, having Devin Booker at your 3 and then having Bradley Beal at the 2. Bradley Beal is like 6'4", and then Tyus Jones is like 6 feet tall. So that's a really small lineup. They got Mason Plumlee as well at the center spot. So, the ball movement is just a lot better on this team, a lot better. So I give them a lot of flack, but I think they're good enough to, get one of those I can't even say solidified playoff spots because it's not. They're good enough for the 8th seed. At my number 7 team, honestly, I didn't have a ton of faith in this team when I saw them make the trade that they did. But now that I'm really looking at it, I think there's a lot of teams that they can be better than. I think they're going to be a fun team, a fast team, and this team is the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings at the number 7 seed. I feel like that's about the max where I think they'll be at, to be honest. I don't see the Kings as this super great team now that they made the DeMar DeRozan trade, but I think they're better. I think they're going to be fun, and shoot, who knows? Honestly, who knows? If DeMar DeRozan comes out and averages 27 points, we're having a different convo, a completely different convo. If DeMar DeRozan can come out and, like I said, he's just scoring a lot of points. He's on his P's and Q's. DeMar DeRozan's always been clutch, so he just keeps the clutch gene in Sacramento, one of the most clutch teams in the league. They already got De'Aaron Fox, who's a super clutch player. So shoot, I mean, they could surprise a lot of people. They could surprise me, but I just feel like they're gonna be one of those middle of the road teams. I think they're gonna get good. They're gonna get good wins here and there. They're gonna win against teams that are worse than them a lot of the time, but I don't see them as this contender-like team. So I think number 7 is fair for Sacramento. At number 6, a lot of people are gonna hate this. I got the Los Angeles Lakers. So the Lakers, I just haven't given up on them. I haven't. I can't look at that team. You're not telling me a team with LeBron, D'Lo, AD. That's not a bad team. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. That is not a bad team, bro. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are still 2 of the best players in the league. And if they can have another healthy season, my guy. There's not many teams, like I said this in previous videos, there's not many teams that I saw going to battle with the Nuggets last season like they did. And that team, even though they lost in 5, gave the Nuggets everything they had. I'm not gonna lie, bro. 2 more missed shots, 1 less turnover here. The games are going in a completely different direction. And the Lakers were like legit up 20 in like 3 of those games. Like, the amount of time for the teams leading was Lakers, Nuggets, and the Nuggets won the series. So I'm just saying the Lakers really did their thing. I have a lot of faith in them. I want them to have a healthy season. I really do think this is still a team this is like a dark horse team at this point. I don't think that they're contenders per se, but they really could be, to be honest. I can see the Lakers beating a lot of teams. I'll just say that. They really could be, but that's my dark horse team. I'm gonna have them at the 6th seed. At the number 5 seed, I have the Nuggets. And this might seem a little low for the Nuggets. I think once playoff time comes, the Nuggets are the Nuggets, and Jokic is Jokic, so they're gonna do what they do. But in the regular season, I just don't know if they're going to have that same dominance that they did last season. Like, playing the Nuggets last season was a guaranteed loss for a lot of teams. And I don't think it's going to be like that this season. They keep losing pieces. And even though you look at the spreadsheet and you go, it's just Bruce Brown, it's just KCP, they're not replacing those pieces with other pieces that can do what they did. They did bring in Russell Westbrook this year. I hope Russ has a good year. But what KCP did was so specific and like it was really integral to that team. Now, if Russ can come in and just magically start hitting jump shots, then sure, we can have the Nuggets higher. But I think even with the Russ contribution, like missing KCP at that 2 spot is going to be a pretty big deal defensively, and the shooting that he brought to the table. I just think that's going to be a hole that they have now, especially when they just lost Bruce Brown, like I said. I think they're still going to be a good team. I think when the playoffs comes to, a lot of that's not going to matter. It's just going to be takeover games, and they got the experience. But yeah, we'll leave the Nuggets at number 5. At number 4, I have the Memphis Grizzlies, and this might seem a little high for the Grizzlies too. I might be giving them too much stock, but I just think the Grizzlies were a really good team when we saw them last. And I'm not even talking about those couple of games with Ja Morant, but those two, they were really, really good when Ja Morant came back. They were good, bro. Like, they were so good that the Grizzlies were already, like, pretty much off the map. Everybody was like, the Grizzlies aren't winning nothing this year. Ja Morant got suspended, and he kind of wasted their season. When he came back, people were genuinely like, oh, they might be able to turn this around. And then he got hurt, but, you know what I'm saying? Even before that, the Grizzlies were really, really good, no? The Grizzlies were good, and Ja Morant was like a top 4 MVP candidate. They were competing with like the Suns and the Warriors a couple years ago for like top seeds. Like the Memphis Grizzlies are like that. They were like that. That was a good team. And before the T-Wolves came up this season, we were looking at the Grizzlies like that. And the way that we were looking at Ant Edwards, we were looking at Ja Morant like that. So I'm just saying, I think that the Grizzlies can have a comeback year. They had a lot of people who normally would not get reps get a lot of NBA minutes. That's just going to make them better players overall. So giving them that opportunity, now you have more depth. Players like Gigi Jackson, they got Salty Aldama, and then even the players who are already nice and already getting minutes. Jaren Jackson Jr. had to be a pseudo number 1. Desmond Bane had to be a pseudo number 1 at times, and they got a lot more shots up than they would have with Ja on the court. Not to say Ja be ball hogging, but that's just the pecking order. You know what I mean? So with them getting more reps and Ja coming back, I think that could be a scary team. I think that could be a really scary team. And Zach Edey is also coming in too, and that can solve their problem with the size as well and their rebounds. So I think if they can shoot consistently, which they should be able to. Josh fixed his jumper. Desmond Bane is a shooter. Jaren Jackson, he started knocking down threes too. And then if Zach Edey can really fix that rebounding problem that they have, they might be in business. I'm not gonna lie, they might be in business. That's a team to look out for, in my opinion. At number 3, I got the Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves, I'm not like I said, I'm not really super duper high on their offseason moves, but I think they could be a good team still. I just think that their moves were pretty lateral. I'm not sure how much Karl Anthony Towns being replaced with Julius Randle is really going to affect this team. I think that'll matter. I really do think that'll matter. If it really is lateral, if their impact really does affect that team like I think it would. But regardless, they got Ant Edwards. They were good last year. They got the swag. They know how to beat people. And Dante DiVincenzo, like I said, Dante DiVincenzo is going to be a big piece to that team. I hope he gets a lot of minutes. If he gets a lot of minutes and they let him shoot the rock, I wanted to say rock and ball. If they let him shoot the rock, I chose one. I'm gonna give y'all another hot take right now. If they let Dante DiVincenzo shoot the ball, he's going to average 20 points per game this season. Gangsta. That's not gonna happen. He's probably gonna average like 16. I'm gonna say my hot take is 18. We're gonna go right in the middle. I'm gonna say he gonna average 18. He probably won't. He probably will average 16. I don't think they're gonna like overtly let him shoot. I think the pecking order, you know what I mean, it's still gonna be Ant Edwards, then Julius, and he's probably gonna come off the bench. Most likely he's gonna come off the bench. So we'll see how that goes though, because a lot of bench players get their reps up. I think Dante DiVincenzo, given the opportunity, could really spark up. I'm not gonna lie. I think Dante DiVincenzo is nice. But yeah, I think that the T-Wolves, you know what I'm saying, they made lateral moves. I like the Dante DiVincenzo pickup. I think Rob Dillingham's look pretty decent in the preseason too. So we'll see how they do, but for now I got them at number 3. I think they're going to pretty much stick with how they were last year, and pretty much keep that same pace more or less. At number 2, I got the Dallas Mavericks, and I think that it's funny, like the way that this team has progressed. Just watching them be like, we were a top seed one of those years. I can't remember which one, but we were pretty high seed one of those years. But for the most part, we were underdogs the entire time. Nobody's really looking out for Dallas, not really. And now that we made the finals and we on the map, and they're like, hey, Luka and Kyrie, that's a problem. Now we got Klay Thompson too. We made a lot of moves. We're gonna have the roster that we were actually winning with last year at the trade deadline when we added Gafford and we added PJ and got rid of Grant Williams. That whole squad got reps together, and they're gonna have a full season and do their thing. And then we added new pieces as well that I think made us better. I think Najee Marshall, yeah, I think that's going to be a really good pickup. He can shoot the ball a lot better than Derrick Jones Jr. was, and I don't think the defensive drop-off is that bad either. So I think with the additions that we made, if we can have a healthy season, Luka Doncic is probably going to win MVP. If we get the 2nd seed, I can't see him not winning an MVP. Even with the 1st seed. Yeah, I pretty much know who that is already. But yeah, that's just how I feel about the situation. I feel like we were a 50-win team last year with half of a season being played with a roster that wasn't that good, and we still made 50 wins. We could have had like 50, 54 to be honest. But either way, that's my 2 seed. My number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Honestly, I just think that's a team that's really good. It's a really good team, to be honest. That's all I really got to say about it. They got Shea, they got J-Dub, they got Chet, they just added Caruso, they just added Hartenstein, and the holes that they had on that roster, they cleared them up. They cleared them up, quite literally. That is the OKC GM. His name is not coming into my head right now, but excellent work. Like, facts. And I'm not gonna lie, what makes it even scarier is that I feel like Oklahoma City can do whatever they want. If in 2 years J-Dub is not panning out, they could literally, I'll give you J-Dub, I'll give you Case and Wallace, and I'll give you fucking 13 picks, and they can get whatever they want, more or less. So I think OKC is super scary for that reason. But just talking about this season and this season only, like I said, Shea, he's been good. J-Dub, his progression has been crazy. Chet, good off the rip. So they got that 1 season out the way. I'm assuming Chet's going to get better. I'm assuming J-Dub's going to get better. I don't know how much better Shea can even get. Like, Shea is really a consistent 30 ball every night. So we'll see, like, what he adds to his game this year. I think maybe a 3-point shot, a more consistent 3-point shot will help him out, because he does get a little streaky at times. But this team doesn't really have any holes, to be honest. Obviously, Hartenstein is not the best center in the league, but you got Chet at the 4 taking up the weak side defense, and he's amazing at that. One of the best weak side defenders in the NBA, because he's like 7'2", so there's really no real issues with this team. They added Caruso, great probably one of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA. Not probably, one of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA to get. And they got a decent bench too, so I don't see any holes with OKC. I think they're going to come in and they're going to do really, really well. Really, really well. I think the Western Conference was pretty easy for me to pick teams. I think the East is going to be way more difficult, to be honest. I think that the East, first of all, they have so many moves. We're going to get into that in that video. If you like this video, leave a like. Stay tuned this week. I'm going to drop the top 8 Eastern Conference seeds just like I did for the West today. And I'm going to catch you on the next one.